Greetings, this is Bishop Dr. Ogletree. Hey, listen, I'm coming to you again for a different podcast. We're in the year of 2024. Thankful to God. It's good to know you're getting reconnected. Please share this podcast. We come out of the scripture, John 7:38, out of your bellies flow like living water. And my prayer for you is that this year, if there continues to be a flow, a good flow in your life. Today, I want to talk about think better. I need to think. I need consistent good thinking. Shane Parrish said the best thinking is rethinking. Thinking. I've learned that if I have anxieties, frustration in my mind, that I'm not at peace about things, it's still in time. And so I need to learn, I want you to get this, how to think better or rethink. It's nothing wrong, watch this, in thinking bigger. It's like thinking more positive, but I'm thinking bigger. It gives you and me this inner power to conquer what a hard day. This helps us manage an average day. I think athletes practice this. I think it determines the level of your skill when you work on thinking. I'm going to think better. I'm going to think better so I'll speak better. Good flow in my thoughts, good flow in my speaking. Adam Grant, man, one of the major books that was recommended, he's a New York bestseller, wrote a book, Think Again. Great book. He parallels and compares the contrasting issues of the preacher, the prosecutor, the politician, and the scientists, how they all think different based on their environment, their training, their education, and their development. Each of them, watch this, wear different goggles. They look at it different. And sometimes I think we mess up by not rethinking. For example, 2024 is going to be different and better than 2023. It might be some difficulties, it might be some storms, but we got to do it. In his book, Adam Grant, man, I love it. He covers the rethinking cycle and watch this, the overconfidence cycle. Man, this is going to help you. We can be too overconfident going into 2024 with the rationale and the intelligence we've had before. We need to look at the problem, look at the circumstance, look at our families, look at the church, look at the business, rethink it. What can I do different? Watch this. What can I do new? How can I make it better? How can it get bigger? George Bernard Shaw, he says this in a quote, progress is impossible without change. And those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. But that was deep. You need to remember that quote. Rethinking, thinking better means I'm willing, you're willing to change. The relationship can work, but we got to make some changes. And we have to think different. Here's some things to write down. I think I got 4, maybe 5. I think it's 4. Write it down. Work on choosing your thoughts carefully. I've been working on this, practicing. Wisdom is vertically. I put it up there wrong too. Knowledge is horizontal. Wisdom is with God. I get it from God. Yeah, I study and all that, but I talk to God. Knowledge is horizontal, it's plain, it's flat. I know the speed of the freeway. I know the speed at the school zone. I know how to drive this route back and forth. That's horizontal. James 1:5 says, if any of you lack wisdom, you should ask God, who gives what? Watch this, generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given, watch this, to you. My son-in-law and my son don't know. I've ordered them some small reads. They probably read them, but I've got some books for them to read to share some prophetic movement on wisdom. I want them to learn how to trust what God says to you, but I also want them to learn to trust what God shows you. God says some things, but sometimes when he speaks, he shows you something different to see if you can obey what he says. Number two, work to think in ways to grow. I need to grow. We grow by reading. We grow by prayer. We grow by getting in the right circle. We grow. But I thought about it, we can grow wrong too. We can grow wrong with negative and bad thoughts. It can stick to you, it can become addictive. Now, that doesn't mean it wasn't true. That doesn't mean what you hadn't experienced, but you had to work on that. Trauma, depression, assumptions, they drain our energy, man. They let me tell you, it can execute and drain you, and Doc, it'll mess you up, and you will not think correctly. Your mind will be off. We can grow right, though, with positive thoughts. Tell yourself, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to think this differently. I'm going to be careful what I eat. I'm going to be careful what I read. That might sound playful, but I'm serious. I'm going to be careful about the stories I fall into and what I study. All stuff is not good to watch and get caught in. I was watching on one of the streaming channels. I'm not gonna call their name, but it was a show that I immediately knew was not good. 5 minutes in the show, I knew it was a waste of my energy to watch that. I wasn't interested. It didn't match the title. It didn't match what I needed. Let's go. Write it down. Grow wiser. I'm changing the wrong way I grew. I grew up all these years thinking this, but I'm switching to think wiser. I'm going to grow smarter. Wiser is not always speaking. Smarter, you have to respond to certain things publicly. I'm going to grow better. I'm going to grow in a way that I'm going to avoid some disappointments. I'm going to grow in a way that I'm not going to speak maybe when I shouldn't have spoken, though I felt like talking. And then I'm going to grow stronger. That's just not physically, but that's in every area. I want to grow stronger financially. I'm going to save. I'm going to invest. I want to grow stronger physically. I got to work on body count, what I eat, muscle count, blood count. I want to grow stronger mentally. I shouldn't let stuff get next to me too quickly. I need to grow spiritually. Lord, I need to know more about you in this season. Write it down. Number 3, thinking right builds your capacity to function at a high level. You got to get this. You can't go to the next level thinking the old way. I was watching a business piece the other day, and the guy, he was honest. He said he doesn't like Alabama, but he likes Coach Saban's leadership. And he said high achieving people cannot be around low achieving, low standards, low level people. And so if we're growing, we need to think right to function at a higher level. We need to watch this. Thinking better, You understand the wisdom in solving problems. Watch this. Thinking correctly forces you to what? Never give up. I need to figure out what's happening at this level. I'm hired for this. I'm married into this situation. I need to think and not give up. I need to rethink it. I need to rework it and see how that situation can change, how I can still be blessed, because we've learned, I teach you this, that opportunities are just a sign from God. Opposition is no more, than an opportunity. It's a sign from God that if there's an opposition or an obstacle, God is giving you an opportunity to do something better. Zig Ziglar said positive thinking will let you do everything better than negative thinking will. How can you work out thinking negative? How can you work on a job and you have a right not to like it, but not think better? You have to think better. What is the reason? What am I learning? What do I need to learn to make things happen? Last but not least, number 4, think creatively outside of the box. I got it. Somebody said, I'm not creative. Yes, you are. We serve a creative God. Now, I'm not talking about coloring on paper. I'm not talking about how to match clothes, maybe. Think about it. We grew up thinking, we grew up being corrected. Color in between the lines. If you go outside of that line, you're not coloring good. And on one hand, that's true, but on another, we've boxed ourselves in to the way we think might be outside of the lines. And that's what we need to happen in our life today. So watch this. Don't be afraid to think differently. Come on, somebody help me, Jesus. Don't be limited by your surroundings, and don't let your surroundings limit you. You don't know how you're going to make it through. You don't have the money, but still dream it, still believe it. Thinking another way to do it. Watch this. Don't allow negative people to know what you're thinking. Boy, let me tell you, the blind cannot lead the blind. So you got to be careful. Sharing insider trader secrets with someone who's not thinking at that level, or they don't want you to go to that level. Let's close with this. Richard Branson said, if people aren't calling you crazy, you aren't thinking big enough. Think big. Think grander. Think larger. You might not have what you want, but to get that vision, to get that dream to come to pass, you got to rethink some things, readjust, and God will do what only He can do. Take care. God bless you.